Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track by an act named Zensi Vibe, titled Metamorphosis. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on YouTube. We're going to be listening through this track from start till finish. Going to hear what we think. Loved the somber piano chordal structures and wanted to bring some funk to it. It sounds like lo-fi trap bass to me, but I'd love to hear which one you think this vibe falls into. Let me know in the comments below. And obviously, if you enjoy this track, feel free to go check out their YouTube and all that. But anyways, let's go. Let's do it. What do we got? I'm loving that space vibe, that spacey vibe there. If my understanding is correct, I think they were using some AI artwork or something like that for the actual visuals in this, which is kind of dope. Fantastic ambience here with these sort of lo-fi-ish pianos, keys, all that kind of stuff. Great reverb chains. Oh, interesting tone of the drums as well. Great use of a bell tree there, eh? Oh, and that bass is tight, that 808. You know, we've got this 3-chord progression with a little bit of a tail on the end, but little bits of that stereo panning, that automation there with that synth is kind of dope. The oscillation on the sides and the left and right extremes. And the portamento on that 808 is just gorgeous. Kind of makes me wonder what you'd sort of put vocally over a track like this, you know. But nice development as well, though. I'm enjoying the fact that we're continuing to add layers without, like, that little clicks. Without, like, taking away from the main motif. Like a real subtle synthesis with a little bit of sequencer, a little bit of modulation on it. And that build. I'm liking the direction that music is going in 2020s, eh? Bringing the elements of like the 70s and 80s with a jazzy sort of soul and fusion oriented with the contemporary production. It's filthy, man. Like, honestly, the bass is filthy, but it's also so sophisticated and sensual. Oh, and that slowdown. For that to be musical, that lowering of the LP is kind of... and just out. I'm liking that the piano stayed the same. I think it allowed us to sort of appreciate it, whilst also noticing everything else that was going on in regards to the arrangement and voicing of the various lead melodies. Sounds misty and ambient. Great job at the end with that build. Stunning one. Stunning video there, man. Stunning video, stunning visuals, stunning track. Because this is the conclusion of my review of Zensi Vibe's Metamorphosis. Dope track, dope tune, you know. I think, you know, we had hashtag beat making in the title, so I assume there's going to be more beats made like this. I'm not sure what the track was about, you know, after listening through it. I'm not sure what it's about. I don't think necessarily we need to. It kind of sounds like, I mean, I can take cues from the video and everything like that. Metamorphosis is used like an evolution or like a development or a physical or physiological change or something like that, you know. Usually there's something more preferable or preferential, you know. And I think that this music kind of sounds like it's supporting that, you know. The main motif there with the piano and then everything else that came into it was sort of somber and like thoughtful, but at the same time it never became too deep or dark or anything like that. You know, you had some freshness coming in with those sort of mid-range oscillating synths and stuff like that, that kind of future-based kind of vibe with the lo-fi elements. And I think that these were good choices that were made here. I think as well, just the structure of it, you know, we had an A-B kind of sort of stroke to it with the mid-range kind of resolving on that root note for a little bit, just to give the listener a bit of a break from the movement, even if it was slow and gradual. I like the percussion that came in, you know, the work on the hi-hats and the interesting sort of claps or snare sound along with the bass coming in with those, with you know, the kick and just the tightness of that and the resonance in there without being overwhelming. It's very classy. It sounds quite professional. And again, just the flow of that, how things rolled around in the stereo field and then the overall sort of vibe and feel of it, you know. I felt like you were being taken somewhere and you weren't sure where, I guess because there's a lack of vocals, but you didn't necessarily suffer because of that. I think the simplicity of this track comes from like the various elements being laid on top of each other. You know, the piano could have developed, we could have had differences in the way it was played, but I think that would have maybe made it a little bit too adventurous for some people, especially if you're looking as like a beat to rap on. I know a lot of rap and hip hop nowadays and stuff like that is feel like one motif sort of centric, and that's fine, but like, you know, I don't think it was a detriment. I think that if anything, it provided a lot of room to develop and add layers. It went from a compositional standpoint as we went along, and none of them still seemed weird or unusual. It was even like the little poppy sort of sounds at like the 2/3 mark. They were like, oh yeah, I get it. I get why we're putting them in there. You know, by themselves, they might not make a lot of sense, but like together, you know, it's more meaningful. The production, the recording, mixing, and mastering, just because I feel like a lot of what I can say about the motif is evident within it itself. You know, the sequences, you know, don't get me started on the sequences, they're absolutely gorgeous. I like the filtering in them as well, and the way they were sort of almost a sub-layer on the sides to kind of go alongside the rest of the elements and add a little bit of sort of mid-range depth. But you know, the reason I want to talk about the production now is simply because I think as well, it's just so it's sensational. The way things have been recorded, whether they were sampled or recorded, you know, placed in the mix, nice effects change with everything involved within it, you know. There were no sort of weird resonances or issues with the EQing or anything like that. You know, it was nice and wide in the stereo field, lots of playing around with automation, with the panning and all that from some of the elements. Some remained static where they were in the stereo field, and I think that was a strength as well. Everything wasn't moving. There was just enough change to keep things interesting and developing. The leveling of the elements in the mix was great as well. You know, that it's at a level where I feel like this person, you know, Zensi Vibe, could potentially start doing some actual you know, like if they're not already doing work, making beats for people, I really hope they can find some work to do that, you know. Apparently they're open to collaborations as well, so if you want to do that, that's absolutely, I'd recommend getting in touch with them. But yeah, the limiting compression was fantastic. It was nice and loud without pumping. There was also a sense of dynamic range and perceived loudness, especially in that quiet a bit near the middle, and especially when the drums cut out and the bass is there. That airiness, that floatiness there is very effective, and it helps to connect the track even without a sense of story or a sense of a journey. Like again, I mentioned, you know, you feel like you're going on a journey, you're not sure where, and I like the fact there's a sense of ambiguity as well, which is going to be beneficial for people who want to use this sort of rap over or sing over or something. But that's effectively my review of Zensi Vibe's Metamorphosis. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Zensi Vibe some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.